When talking about exotic cars, there's a handful of companies that may spring to mind. Names like Ferrari and McLaren, with long racing pedigrees, tend to appear on lists of the most expensive and most desirable exotic cars. But then there is the truly exotic cars, and by exotic I mean downright wacky, and I don't think any automotive brand does that quite like Pagani. Before Pagani developed its more recent technical masterpieces, their lineup was much less refined. The 1999 Pagani Zonda C12 was the start of an era, upsetting the exotic Italian car market right at the turn of the millennium. It's easy to see how, simply looking at the car is enough to explain its splash. It looked like nothing else in the world. The Zonda didn't need wild colours or wraps to turn heads. The original car, serial number 001, presented to the 1999 Geneva Motor Show with full body silver gloss paint. But the body in question was unusual to say the least. Its short wedge-shaped nose had a rake like an MPV's windshield and was flanked by 4 James Bond-style machine guns. The cabin looked from the outside as if it had been lifted from a sci-fi fighter jet, or more accurately a Japanese 90s super mini concept car of some sort, and the tail, following from behind the front arches, continued to climb and widen, making the rear wheels look small simply by virtue of the enormous amount of bodywork surrounding them. The rear of the car was abruptly cut with a steep chamfer, on which was displayed one of the Zonda's and therefore Pagani's most iconic design features, the quad exit exhaust pipes. Emerging from a chrome ring right in the very centre of the car, they remain what most people remember of the Zonda. The engine powering this ridiculous Italian beast was naturally a V12, with the original C12, of which only 5 were built, containing a 6-litre Mercedes engine. Though it only produced around 440 brake horsepower, it could propel the C12 to 60 miles an hour in just 4 seconds, and keep pushing the car up to approximately 185 miles an hour through a 5-speed manual gearbox. Pagani decided, however, that this was too slow, introducing the C12S in 2002. The car kept pretty much the same bodywork, however the internals saw substantial change. The Mercedes V12 was enlarged to 7 litres, increasing the engine's power output to 542 brake horsepower. This decreased the car's 0-60 time by 0.3 seconds and increased its top speed to 208 miles an hour. To achieve this, the old 5-speed gearbox was ditched and replaced by a newly developed 6-speed manual transmission. Pagani then made a third iteration of the car, again in 2002, the C12S 7.3. As I'm sure you've deduced from the name, the car had its displacement enlarged again to a whopping 7.3 litres. This added 5 brake horsepower to the datasheet, but resulted in no tangible performance changes. The following year, 2003 for those of you keeping track, Pagani made a roadster version of the C12S 7.3, the Zonda C12S 7.3 Roadster, or simply Zonda Roadster for people with somewhere to be. The company promised no performance compromises with this new roofless car, a claim bolstered by its minimal weight gain of just 30 kilos. Having already produced a 6-litre closed cabin variant, a 7-litre closed cabin variant, a 7.3-litre closed cabin variant, and a 7.3-litre Roadster variant, it became immediately clear what Pagani should do with the Zonda name. A 7.3-litre closed cabin variant. Of course. Thus, the Zonda F was born. Technically, the Zonda F was slightly different. It had an increased power output of 595 brake horsepower, as well as some minor bodywork tweaks to help with aerodynamics and overall make the car look a bit sleeker. We also cannot ignore the emergence of the two-tone colour scheme, which obviously made it the best Zonda yet. Only 25 Zonda Fs were made. Of course, this being Pagani, there were more than 25 Zonda Fs made. They made a Roadster version of the Zonda F, the Zonda F Roadster. Except it wasn't called that, it was called the Zonda Roadster F for some reason. I guess it was a way of tethering it back to the Zonda Roadster, but by that logic the Zonda F should have been called the Zonda C12S 7.3F. I see why they wouldn't have done that, but I digress. The Zonda Roadster F was like a Zonda F, but without a roof. As with all convertibles, this made the car heavier. In the case of the portly Roadster F, the weight gain totaled a mammoth 5 kilos. The Pagani team weren't having this, and so in an effort to compensate, they crammed 46 additional horses into the 7.3 litre AMG V12, bringing its total power output to 641 brake horsepower. Like the Zonda F, the Zonda Roadster F was limited to a 25-car production run. Not one to try and confuse people, Pagani then released the Pagani Zonda Roadster F Club Sport, a lightweight version of the Zonda Roadster F, in 2006. Got nothing particularly interesting to say about it, but basically it was quite fast, and it's got the longest car name in history. Despite the obvious differences between the 7.3 litre 6-speed facelifted aero cars of 2006 and the 6 litre 5-speed wedges of the late 90s, Pagani stuck with the Zonda name. At this point everybody used Zonda and Pagani interchangeably. Most people only knew the cars as Zondas in fact, many not knowing the actual company name. And Pagani wanted to do something about it. They wanted to make a new car and retire the name. So following the Pagani Zonda Roadster F Club Sport was the Pagani Sync. Except it wasn't, it was the Pagani Zonda Sync. This was a 5-car production run built at the request of a Hong Kong dealer, with cars being delivered in late 2009. This was, after a decade, supposed to be the last Zonda. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The Pagani Zonda Sync was followed by the Pagani Zonda Sync Roadster. No, not the Roadster Sync. A 5-car limited production run of the same car but without a roof. You get it, I'm sure. In 2010, Pagani decided it was time. Time to make a Zonda with the Italian flag on it, of course. The Zonda Tricolore was meant to be a one-off car, but I guess they built 2 additional ones by accident, so there was 3 of them in total. The car could hit 220 miles an hour. It was a really interesting car in ways that I haven't described already 4 times, I promise. It had see-through paint that was blue at the same time. This brings us to the end of the Zonda production run. Except, it doesn't. Here's a list of one-off and special edition cars that I didn't and will not cover. The Zonda HP Barchetta, the Zonda Monza, the Zonda Uno, the Zonda HH, the Zonda Absolute Evo, the Zonda PS, the Zonda JG, the Zonda... fuck off. The Zonda Roadster F Club Sport Final Edition, the Zonda 760 RS, the Zonda 760 LH, the Zonda 764 Passione, the Zonda 760 Fantasma, the Zonda 760 Kiryu, the Zonda 760 AG, the Zonda 760 LM, the Zonda 760 LM Roadster, the Zonda 760 Oliver Evolution, the Zonda 760 Riviera, the Zonda 760 Aether Roadster, the Zonda 760 Zun Roadster, the Zonda 760 King, the Zonda 760 Venti Roadster, the Zonda 760 Danubio, the Zonda 760 Unica Roadster, the Zonda 760 Oliver Roadster, the Zonda 760 Sapphire. That brings the total number of different Pagani Zonda variations, and this is just the road legal ones as well, to 36. The name was finally officially retired in 2019 after 20 years. So that was the story of the Pagani Zonda, a wacky outlier of the 1999 Geneva Motor Show turned automotive historians' biggest headache, all while remaining one of the rarest and most exotic supercars money can buy. I hope you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new, and leave any feedback or video suggestions in the comments. Until next time, thanks for watching, and goodbye. Billboarding, side hoardings, glossy magazines, low-fat lover on a new front cover of Bimbo Beauty Queens. Find that fashion, feed that passion, we take cash or credit. Another guy
if you don't dress better, and we won't let you forget it.